fellow riders, and welcome back to Airhead Barn. In our previous episode we showed you how to install and properly set up front brakes, and today we are going to focus on a bikini or quarter fairing, front headlight and gas tank. Before I sent gas tank for painting, I actually prepared the inside of a tank. The original liner was flaking and peeling, and what I did, I mechanically and chemically actually etched and removed that liner from a tank. Mechanically I used drywall screws and then shaken for good several hours. I've shaken the tank, and then chemically phosphoric acid was also used that helped to remove the remaining parts of the liner and also to create a really nice coating inside the gas tank, where now I can safely pour gas without any worries that some of the contamination can get into the carbs. That's one approach. You can definitely put liner inside. For instance, red coat is something that works for many people. In this case I didn't want to do that because it was kind of troublesome for me. I had a couple of dings on my tank, and that means that I would first need to straighten those dings and then do the red coat and then send it to my painter again for painting. I wanted to avoid that because if red coat is not done perfectly, it can actually create a lot of mess, so it can peel again. In this case, using phosphoric acid, if any time I end up having problems again, I can flush phosphoric acid again, run it through the tank, and I should be good for the next several years. So that's what I decided, that approach I decided to take here. I hope you will like this episode, so please stay tuned and join us. Okay, so now we can basically proceed with installing headlight gasket, which I have here. And we will use rubber glue to install this one. Okay. Leave it for 5 minutes and then we can press one onto another. Okay, 5 minutes later we can proceed with installation. Okay, so slowly. Release the gasket. And now you want to leave it to cure before you install the headlight. And in the meantime, you can start putting the hardware here that will be used to mount this quarter fairing to the bike. Okay. So first, these holders are used to attach the fairing to the frame. And how they work, essentially I put a new rubber grommets here. So first you would need to attach this to the fairing. And the another. By the way, this is original fairing, this is not reproduction. Has been original BMW stamp, and I'm glad I'm able to reuse it. Okay, now this guy, sure. So this thing is not same on both ends. Here it's actually flush. Here it comes to the middle part where this part is in the middle, goes right here, and part where it's flush goes on your forks. Okay, for now we are just going to make it snug, and then once when it's mounted on a bike we will tighten everything. Okay, same thing here. For now we will set it aside, and while it's curing glue, we are going to focus on the instruments here, voltmeter and clock. Okay, so clock goes to the right. And there is a small gasket here, like a O-ring that keeps it stable in place. Just to drive this one through. Position it correctly. These are plastic nuts, so be careful not to over tighten it. There it is. Okay. Now voltmeter. And that's it. Okay. Now we can mount that with a screen on our fairing. And originally that was mounted using copper rivets, and then there were plastic tabs that you would push through the screen and everything stays in place. This bike actually came with aftermarket screen, and they used some stainless steel hardware here which looked really nice, so that's what I'm going to reuse, even though that's not the original that was used, but still I liked how it looked like. And here is the screen. Okay, so before putting screen, there is actually a seal strip that goes between this dashboard and the fairing. grease, some extra. And this one reduces noise and basically so air and rain coming through. So it's really good idea to put it in place before installing the screen. And I'm gonna use masking tape to hold it in place. Okay, now this is ready to be installed on a bike. You can proceed with mounting your headlight. That's it. Now we can mount that quarter fairing on top of this, but before that I'm just going to loosen the headlight bucket so we can wiggle it. Okay, so here I have hardware for mounting the quarter fairing. First, there are rubber washers that need to go on, and then take it all the way here, so you have enough space. Fairing will need to be spreaded, so that's why you don't want that washer be sitting at this moment here where it needs to be normally. So all the way in. So first we will run wires on this side and go all the way through. Okay. Now we will run wires on this side and just spread it tiny bit. Be very careful so it doesn't crack. That first one. Okay. There it is. So fairing is in now, and now the only remaining part is we need to align headlight. So with a tiny screwdriver you can actually press the rubber and position it properly. Okay. So that's it. Okay, so now next thing that you need to do is take these eccentric rubbers. Okay, they are brand new, so covered with talc. Okay, and that goes like this, and then through the fairing all the way. Later, these are eccentric, so you can actually rotate them to position fairing properly. At this moment I'm going to place it just like this, on same on both sides, and then we can play with them. Eccentric. Looks good. Okay, so now you can see this eccentric rubber and rubber washer, and this one basically needs to go now over the eccentric rubber, just like that. And then there are steel caps that go just like this from top. There it is. Okay. Perfect. Now we will repeat the same thing on the other side. Okay, now when we have everything set up properly, we have these thick washers that go just like this, and then caps for the turn signals.